Hey guys, I'm Jade, and today we are focused on a yoga flow for the entire body to really open up all the muscles of the body. So this is a wonderful flow if you have had a crazy workout in the gym and it's the end of the week and you feel really tight or sore. This is what to do. Okay, this is going to really help you to open up and release everything and release those muscles so you don't feel that stiffness. Okay, so we're going to be hitting the shoulders, the front of the shoulders, the back of the shoulders, the triceps, the biceps, the neck, the upper back, the chest area, as well as the lower back, the hips, inner thighs, outer thighs, everything, hamstrings, calves, even your feet. So this is a really great way to just feel rejuvenated and start your week off feeling great, feeling open, okay? So make sure that you have a nice soft area to work out on. I am using a bolster today. If you have a rolled up blanket, that'll work too, just to allow yourself to settle a little bit further into these poses, to allow yourself to open up a little bit more. I'm also using some yoga blocks just to allow myself to bring the floor up higher. That way then I don't feel like I'm hunching in my back. So that's very helpful as well. If you have anything that you can elevate the hands up on, that would be wonderful. All right, so I hope you love this. Again, this is a wonderful way to end your week of a rigorous workout and just feel clear-minded, release all that negative energy that your body is storing from your workout, okay? So grab your stuff and I'll meet you on your mat. I hope you love it.
Let's begin today's class in the back of our mat. We're going to come into our child's pose, our balasana pose. So go ahead and bring your big toes to touch. Bring your knees about hip distance apart or a little bit wider. Take a deep breath here. Sit up nice and tall. And then exhale, go ahead and walk your hands just out in front of you, reaching forward, allowing your body just to fall between your legs here. Let your forehead fall to the floor. And see if you can reach your arms a little bit further towards the top of the mat here. So stretching out our lats, our upper back, our shoulder joints. Take a deep inhale. Fill the lungs and then exhale. Breathe in again. And exhale, allow your body just to surrender here. And try to bring all your attention just to your mat right now. So any thoughts of the past or of the future, allow that to pass right now. Again, breathe in through the nose. And as you exhale, think of letting go. Letting go of anything that doesn't serve you in this moment. Anything that allows heaviness onto you. Let that pass right now. On your next inhale, see if you can reach forward a little bit further here. And what we're going to do is we're going to begin to walk the hands towards the left side of the mat. So really reaching towards the left side, stretching out that right side body. Think of really pulling your sit bones towards your heels here. And then reaching through your right side body towards the right corner of the mat here. So feeling that right side just really opening up here. Breathe into it. Draw that energy into this area. Allowing that rejuvenating prana to flush out any negativity in this area. Make sure to take deep breaths in and exhale to let go. Take a couple more breaths here. Keep reaching through that right side, so really opening up. If you can walk your hands a little bit further to the left side, go ahead and do so. Allow your head to be heavy, your legs to be soft here. exhale, squat the hands right back to neutral. Take a breath. And then exhale, let's bring the hands over to the right side this time. So we're going to open that left side body up here. Again, breathe in, drawing that energy into that left side to really open it up. Draw that awareness to the side. Feel the deep stretch. And reach with that left side towards the left corner of the mat. So reaching with the hands, pressing with the body towards the left side, reaching forward, allowing your body to create space in the spine, space in the areas that feel tight, but also find that softness here. So allow the legs to be soft, the forehead to be soft. Allow yourself to relax. Notice any tension in the face in each movement. Sometimes what happens is every time we get into an uncomfortable pose that creates a lot of tension, discomfort, our face will clench up. That's the first area we notice that holds a lot of tension. There's a lot of muscles in the face. So just draw your awareness to this area and see if you can just relax the face. And on your next exhale, let's come back to neutral. Again, breathe and reach a little further here. Maybe coming up to fingertips here, lifting the palms up. And then let's exhale. Press into the hands. We're going to lift the body, roll the spine up, tabletop, and then all we're going to do is just lower the hips very slowly. Elbows come back, and we're going to release the body all the way to the floor here. You can get yourself to the middle of the mat here. So let's just bring the hands forward, elbows underneath the shoulders, spread the fingertips here. Take a deep breath in and think of pulling the whole heart forward here. Shoulders are going to come back and then down away from the ear. So create that space in the neck here. And we're just going to roll the head towards the left side and then towards the right side. So just stretch the neck out here in our Sphinx pose. And as I'm laying here in this pose, what I'm doing is thinking of pulling the elbows back. So I'm not really pulling them back, but I'm dragging them back. And as I do that, that spreads the collarbone and pulls my heart forward just a little bit more, just to create that deep stretch in my upper back here. And then make sure that you don't throw your head back. So you want to just keep your head as though it's neutral with your spine. So moving with the roll of your spine here. So if your eyes are open, you want to gaze just between the thumbs. And then maybe begin to close the eyes here. And just breathe. Breathe into your body. Breathe into your heart. Think of the breath bringing in, again, that positive energy, allowing space to cleanse and remove anything that's weighing you down. It's holding you back. Creating a blockage in your body and your mind. And then we're going to go into a couple stretches here for our quads. So what I want you to do is go ahead and bring your right hand to where your left elbow is. And then you can move your hand up a little bit forward here. You're just going to bring your forehead to the hand here, to the arm. And then go ahead and bring that left heel in towards your glute. And then if you can reach back with your left hand and just grab onto the top of the foot here, or the ankle. And see if you can pull that heel in closer towards your glute. So just let the head fall into the arm here. I'm pulling the shoulder back, so we're stretching the shoulder a little bit here, stretching the quad. And what you may notice is the knee may try to come out, so try to keep that knee in line with your hip here. And breathe. And as we do this, you'll notice maybe your back is starting to arch a little bit, so try to keep pulling your tailbone down towards the back of your mat here to prevent that dip in the lower back. You'll notice a deeper stretch in the quads as you do this. And if you'd like to go a little bit further, what we're gonna do is walk that right arm in just a little bit so it's right underneath the shoulder again, or closer to underneath the shoulder. And then we're gonna roll the body up and begin to pull that heel in closer to you as you pull the elbow back. So we're going into a deeper stretch in the quad, but also into the shoulder here. So we're using a little strength in the right arm. If this is too much for you, you can go ahead and come back down with your forehead on your forearm. Breathe here. Nice deep full breath. Notice any maybe thoughts that are coming up right now. Lots of emotions maybe you notice when we go into these deep holding poses. A lot of emotions will surface and come up. And that's a good thing, but what we don't want to do is suppress it. So allow it to come up and just pass. Just notice it and allow it to just drift away. All right, and if you're up, go ahead and come back down. Release the foot. Go ahead and release the foot all the way down to the floor. And we're just going to switch it out. So bring your left hand in front first. Let's start with the forehead on the forearm. And then you're going to go ahead and bring that right heel in towards the right glute. And then reach back if you can and grab onto either the top of the foot or the ankle here. Deep breath. Just breathe. And see if you can pull the heel in just a little bit closer towards your glute. Again, pulling the tailbone down to really feel that deep stretch in that quad. And try to keep the shoulder away from the head here, so pulling it down. If you'd like to go a little bit further, you can walk that elbow underneath the shoulder here and roll the chest up. And again, what we're going to do is really open that shoulder up, so pull the heel closer to the glute if you can, and then you're going to point the elbow up towards the sky, so pull the shoulder back. And you may notice a deep stretch in the shoulder. If this is too much for you, you can go ahead and release back down onto your forearm. You may notice that one side is a little bit tighter than the other, and that's okay. This is normal. We're here to notice and work with our body. So take a deep breath in and exhale. Just noticing your body, how it feels in these poses, these deep stretches. One more breath in and release. Okay, so let's go ahead and release the foot. Very carefully bring it back down to the floor. Let's bring the hands to the side of the chest. What we're going to do is just roll the body up here, and then see if you can begin to straighten the arms coming into our seal pose. So keep the thighs on the floor here. And again, what we're going to do is pull the shoulders down. If your elbows are back, you're in a high cobra, that's fine too. Just listening to your body. Each body is created differently in a different place. We're looking for that feeling, that sensation of release. Just listen to your body. Shoulders roll back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and pull that tailbone down. Keep the thighs pulling in towards each other. Begin to lift the hips up, tabletop, and then again we're going to sit right back into our balasana pose. So bring sit bones all the way down to the heels, forehead to the floor, reach the hands forward here. Take a deep breath to stretch that upper body into the back of the heart. And release. Okay, so now what we're going to do is come all the way up to tabletop, curl the toes under, and then we're going to begin to press into the hands, lift the hips all the way up, coming into our downward facing dog. And you can walk your dog out here, so bending one knee, releasing the opposite heel. Press that hip back of the heel that's towards the floor. Really feeling a deep stretch in that hamstring, maybe in that hip area. You may notice it in the glute area even. Your IT band. Just walk your dog out, feel your body. And breathe and lift those hips up. And Release that sternum towards the floor here, but keep your arms nice and strong. And then when you're ready, let's come back to neutral. So lift the heels up, press into the hands, lift the hips, lift the hips. Take a deep breath, and then exhale, release those heels down. Let's go ahead and walk very slowly all the way to the front of our mat, towards the hands here, into our forward fold. So allow your body to fold over top of the front of your thighs. Take a deep breath here. And exhale, release the sternum towards the floor. Let your head hang, maybe shake it yes and no here. Just allow your neck a little space here against gravity. And when you're ready, we're going to press into the feet and begin to roll vertebra by vertebra all the way up. Reach your arms all the way up towards the sky. And then we're just going to draw the hands through heart center as we fold all the way back down to the mat here into our forward fold. Lift halfway up into our Ardha Uttanasana, so straining the spine here. Shoulders roll back. Deep breath, and let's bend that left knee. We're going to press that right hip back here. And then let's switch it out. So we're going to bend the right knee, press the left hip back. Let's come back to neutral. We're going to fold all the way forward. Press the hands into the mat, and let's step straight back into a plank here. And what we're going to do is press it right back into our downward facing dog. Bend the right knee and bring it in towards the chest. And then what we're going to do is release the knee towards the floor with the foot pointed towards the left side of the mat, and then roll all the way onto your sit bones on the right side of the mat here, okay? So we're going to come to a seated position with our left leg straight. Bring the bottom of the right foot to your inner left thigh here. So we're in a half straddle pose. And then all we're going to do is reach the arms up. Make sure you're seated with both sit bones, and then release that left hand either to the top of the shin here, or if you can reach for the toes. Deep breath in. Reach through that side body here, so that right side is really stretching. And what we're going to do is just reach forward, so bring the shoulder towards the ground. So now what we're doing is stretching out the lower back. So make sure you keep a lift in your left ribs. We're not just dumping here. And then we're going to open the shoulder up. Deep breath, and exhale. Shoulder comes down, and reach it up. And then bring it back down. And reach it up. A couple more times here. Exhale to bring it down. Inhale, reach. Feel that deep stretch in the right side body. Exhale, lower back. Inhale. And then let's come up. Right arm's going to come towards the floor. Left arm's going to swoop down. And then we're going to lift the hips up. And just reach behind us here. Deep breath. And then exhale, let's just bring that hand down. We're going to come right back into our downward facing dog. Take a breath, and then let's step all the way forward here into a low lunge. So bring that knee to the floor here, and all we're going to do is keep the fingertips onto the floor here. So just pulling the knee forward, we're going to open up that left hip flexor. So pulling that knee just above the toes, the right toes. Stretching out the ankle a little bit here. Breathe. Pulling that right hip back here. Make sure you're not arching in your upper back. So we're going to pull the heart forward. And then all we're going to do is just heel toe that right foot to the outside of the right hand. Okay, so make sure it's to the edge of the right side of the mat here. We're going to roll the foot to the pinky toe and then point the toes out just a little bit so the knee and the toes are pointed the same direction. And then all we're going to do is press into that left hand, bring the right hand to the inside of that right knee, and then we're just going to twist here and then inhale to open, so the body is going to come back. We're pressing the knee away from us, and then exhale, maybe bring it back, so elbow bends. Inhale to open up, and exhale, bring it back in. So we're really opening up that left hip flexor down here, as well as our right hip. So just move with your breath, make it fluid. If this feels too much on your left arm, you can just stay neutral and come down to your elbows or keep your hands up as well. Okay, you don't have to do this. release the hand right back down here. Take a breath. And then bring the knee back up so the toes still pointed out just a little bit, knees point in the same direction. And all we're gonna do is lift that back knee up off the floor, press into the fingertips, press into that right foot and step forward here. So we're gonna come into our low squat or malasana pose. So knees pointed same direction as the big toes here. We're gonna bring the elbows to the inside of the knees here and then press the hands in Anjali, okay? So right at the heart here. Pulling the shoulders back, opening the heart forward. Take a deep breath in and see if you could bring the hips down low, okay? If this is too much for you today, you can keep your body upright and your hands on the floor. You could also put maybe blocks behind you to sit down on something so that when then you're able to support yourself, you can lean forward from your hips here still and get your elbows to the inside of the knees. So again, listen to your body. Stay here for just a moment, breathe. Just opening up the hips, stretching out the lower back. And let's bring the left hand down and we're just gonna reach the right arm up as we twist to the right side. So keep the knees open here. Go ahead and switch it out. So right arm is going to come down, left arm is going to come up. And let's bring that left hand down. And then we're just going to lift the hips up, open the heels. The toes are pointed forward here into our forward fold. Take a breath. The head be heavy. And then pressing into the feet, rolling up vertebra by vertebra. Nice and slow, reach the arms back behind you, up towards the sky. Forward fold as you draw your hands through heart center. Press into the hands and let's step right back into plank. And then lift the hips straight up into our downward facing dog. So let's switch it out. Do the same thing on the opposite side. Let's bend that left knee, bring it in. Deep breath in, and then we're gonna release the knee. Toes are pointed out towards the right side of the mat here, and then we're just gonna roll right onto our hips, okay? So I'm facing backwards so you can see me from the back this time. Bring that left foot to the inside of the right thigh here. Right leg is nice and straight here, toes pointed up. Let's reach the arms up towards the sky. And then again, you can bring the hand towards the shin or the toes if you're able to reach. We're gonna reach up and over with that left hand. Deep breath in. And then release the shoulder down as we roll that stretch to the lower back. I'm gonna inhale to reach up. And then exhale. Bring it down. And inhale up. Exhale down. Just moving with your breath still. And one last time here. And this time we're going to bring that left hand all the way down. Sweep that right hand right in front of you as you press the hips up and reach behind you. You're going to lift up through the front hips. So stretching that front hip flexor, the quads a little bit here. And then let's go ahead and release that right hand down. We're going to come right back into our downward facing dog. Take a breath. This time, let's bend that left knee and then step right in between the hands here. Lower the right knee down, coming in for a low lunge here, a runner's lunge. So again, coming to the fingertips, make sure the upper body is upright and you're able to pull the heart forward. Okay, bending from that left hip flexor, pull that left hip back. Breathe. Try to move that left knee right over top of the toes. Square to the front of the mat here. So pulling that right hip forward, left hip back. And then let's go ahead ahead and heel toe that left foot to the outside here of the left hand. And then we're gonna lift the toes up, point them out, roll to the outside of the pinky toe here, let the knee fall out. Bring the right hand underneath that right shoulder, and then we're just gonna twist open. Bring the left palm to the inside of the knee and begin to push as you inhale. Just opening up hip. Notice that deep stretch in the right hip flexor. So we're gonna let the hips fall towards the floor here. And again, if this is too intense for you today, you can stay on your hands. That's fine, or you can come down to your elbows. You don't have to be twisted. So listen to your body today and where it's at. And then go ahead and bring it back in. So we're just gonna move with the breath. Inhale to open it up. Exhale to bring it back in. Time, open it up, and then let's go ahead and bring that left hand back to the floor. If it's not there already, we're going to keep the toes pointed out, but roll back to the entire foot, and then we're going to curl the back right toes, lift the knee up off the floor, stay strong in the hands, press into that left foot as we step forward with the right foot. We're going to come right back into our Malasana. So if you need to grab a block, I'll use a block this time just to show you what that looks like. Just place it underneath the sit bones, sit up nice and tall here, and lean forward from the hips only, not the lower back, okay? So make sure that you're pressing into the floor, into the mat with your feet evenly. Bring your elbows to the inside of the knees, press into the palms, heart comes forward. Inhale, close the eyes, breathe in. Shoulders are gonna pull away from the ears here, allowing space in the neck. Coming back home to yourself, finding that center within you. We'll come in for our twist again. So let's release the right hand down this time, reach up with the left hand. And let's go ahead and switch that. So left hand's going to come down. We're going to twist to reach up with the right hand. Release that right hand down. And this time what we're going to do is press into the hands, lift the hips up into our forward fold. Move my block. Let's go ahead and heel toe the feet in so they're right below the hips here. We're going to press into those feet and lift all the way up, rolling vertebra by vertebra. Arms are going to come right up overhead. And then we're going to fold all the way forward once again, down to the floor into our forward fold or Uttanasana. Lift halfway up into our Ardha. And then what we're going to do is plant the hands to the side of the feet here, and then press into the right foot, step straight back with our left foot into a lunge here. Take a breath, and then exhale, release. To release that left knee down, uncurl the toes. If you feel comfortable doing that, we're going to press into the front foot. Bring the hands straight up towards the sky. Release the right hand right down behind you, maybe reaching for the outside of the left thigh. Reach that left hand up and over towards the back right corner of the mat. And then release the left hand down. Right arm's going to come up and over, right down to the mat. We're going to curl the back toes, lift the knee up, and then press to extend that front knee, coming into our forward pyramid fold here, okay? So you can grab your blocks here just to help to bring the floor up a little bit higher to keep your back neutral. If you feel a little tighter in the hamstrings, I'm going to move this back so you can see. I'm pressing into the front toe, keeping that back heel lifted up, and pulling that right hip back, allowing myself to keep my neutral spine in alignment here. Deep breath. Release the knee down. We're going to do the same thing. So you can uncurl the toes or keep them curled. We're going to reach the arms up and over. Right arm's going to continue all the way back to reach around the leg as the left arm reaches up towards the back of the mat here. Deep stretch in through the left hip flexor here. Sink a little bit deeper. And then the left arm's going to come down, right arm comes up all the way around and down to the blocks or to the mat. Press to lift that left knee up and then sink that right hip back. Right back into our pyramid fold. Breathe. Let's keep moving here. So knee's going to come down. Arms come straight up. Right arm continues all the way around. Reach. Feel that deep stretch all the way down to that front psoas. And then left arm comes down. There's the right arm all the way up and around. Lift, extend, release. Stay here for just a moment. Left knee comes down. Arms come up. Continue all the way down. Reach for the outside of the thigh. Reach up and over with that left hand. Maybe sinking the hips a little bit further down this time. Breathe in here. Stay stable. And left arm's going to come down. Right arm comes up. Open that shoulder up. Reach it up and over all the way down to your blocks or your mat. Lift that left knee. Extend the right knee. Allow your body to hinge and fall over top of that front thigh. Take a breath here. Take an exhale. Lift the heel up and pull that right hip back. Feel this deep stretch on your hamstring, your right hamstring, your lower back. Let's do again. Release the left knee down. Arms are going to come up towards the sky. Right arm's going to reach and you're going to lift up and over with that left arm. Again, let's press those hips towards the floor. Breathe in. Draw that energy to the spaces of restriction, of tightness. Arms are going to come down, right arm comes up and over. Last time, press, lift the knee, press that knee back and fall forward here. This time, see if you can press into that left side, that left hand here. We're going to press into the front big toe, and then we're going to maybe reach out to the side, and if you can, come in for a nice little twist here. So keep that left glute nice and strong. Right hip is pulling back, creating length in that right leg. Pressing the side hips in towards each other and reaching up with that right arm. Now, if this is too intense for you, which is a lot of tightness within the IT band here on the outside of the right leg, we're just going to reach towards the right side. Wherever you are, just breathe. And then let's go ahead and release the hand down, bend that front knee, and then we're just going to step straight forward here into our forward fold. The head be heavy. Reach the arms right behind your knees here and then grab onto opposite elbows. Make sure you're bending the knees to allow the torso and the chest to fall into the front of the thighs. Breathe. Lift the hips up. The upper body be heavy here. Press into the feet, roll all the way up. Very slowly, inhale, arms reach out to the side, straight up towards the sky. Fold it all the way forward, all the way down. Let's lift halfway up. And this time we're gonna press the fingers into the side of the feet and step straight back with the right leg this time. Breathe in. Release the right knee down. Again, uncurl the toes if that feels good. Press into that front foot. Reach the arms up towards the sky. You're going to continue the left arm down and around to the outside of the leg and reach up and over with the right hand. It's the back left corner of the mat. Deep stretch here. Hands are going to come down. If you need to use your blocks again, you can. Bring them on in. Left arm is going to come up and over, nice big circle. Stretch out that left shoulder. Curl the back toes to lift the knee. We're going to extend that left knee, coming in into our pyramid. So lining yourself up again, making sure your hips are even to the front of the mat here, so not twisting. Heel is up, coming out to the tippy toes. So we're also stretching out the toes here, the foot muscles as well. Let's release that back knee down. Reach the arms up and over. Left arm continues as we twist, and then reach up and over with the right arm. So we can sink a little bit deeper this time. So here you'll notice we're also stretching that left shoulder. So pull the shoulder back. Lots of muscles here getting work today. Left arm comes up and around. Lift the knee, extend the front knee. This time see if you can just fold forward, releasing over top of that left thigh. Keep that breath moving. The most important thing you can do is breathe nice and deep through this practice. That breath is going to help you to relax a little bit further into each pose, and also build that energy to create that healing within these muscles that feel really tight. Bend the knee, release the opposite knee. Arms are going to come up. Continue the left arm around, and then reach up and over with the right arm. So feel this deep stretch in the right side body, left shoulder. Just breathe here. If you can, maybe close your eyes, find your balance here. And again, we're going to release the right arm down. Left arm comes up and over. Lift right knee, extend left knee, fall over the left thigh. The head be heavy, breathe. Just coming back to yourself, remembering that that feeling of security within you is only within you. Don't rely on anything outside to help you there. And come back to your mind, settle your thoughts, allow them to come up, allow them to pass and release. This is going to create a little bit more space within you to build you. Let's release the knee. Again, lift the arms up. Left arm comes around, right arm reaches. And release that left arm up and around here. Lift the knee, extend the left knee, fall forward. This time we're going to go ahead and come in for a twist if you can. So press into that right hand underneath the shoulder. Reach to the side if that's where you are today, or you can go ahead and come in for your twist. So reaching the left arm up towards the sky. Keep pulling that left hip back and in towards your midline here. So if you need to keep a little bend in the knee, that's fine. Keep breathing. And then release the hand right back down. We're going to bend into that knee and then step all the way forward. Forward fold. Inhale, roll all the way up. Arms are going to come all the way up towards the sky here. And then fall all the way back down to your forward fold. This time we're going to bring the hands to clasp behind us. So if you can, bring your palms together here and extend at the elbows. So we're reaching the fist up towards the sky. If this is too intense for you today, what you can do is reach for opposite elbows. So we're just opening the shoulders up. So pulling the shoulders back away from the mat, as well as away from the front of the body here. So wherever you are, I want you to lift either your elbows or your fists up towards the sky. Squeeze the shoulder blades. And see if you can allow your hands just to fall a little bit closer towards the front of the mat. Make sure you're hinging from the hips here, so bending the knees to allow your spine to stay straight. Stay balanced. Stay strong. And stay relaxed. The mind settle. The body settle. Wonderful deep breath in here and release the hands to the floor. Again, we're going to roll all the way up. Reach the arms nice and wide and up towards the sky, and then fly all the way back down. Step straight back, this time into our plank. Release the knees down, and then we're going to come right back to our Balasana pose. Deep breath. And this time what we're going to do is just roll all the way up where our hips are just above our knees here. And then we're going to reach the hands forward. So you could do a couple of things here. I'm actually going to take my bolster and place it right where my elbows are going to be. So I'm going to show you a little trick. I'm going to stretch out the triceps a little bit here. So go ahead and bring your elbows right on top of the bolster and bring your hands into prayer. And then what you're going to do is allow your forehead to come onto the bolster. Allow your heart just to fall through this area, this space here. And then bring your palms up towards the sky here. Breathe in and make sure your elbows are in line with your shoulders so they're not coming out far. They're not in too close. So you're pinching into the joint here. And just breathe. And see if you can bring the hands back a little bit further. Take a deep breath and exhale. See if you can melt the heart a little bit closer towards the floor in our puppy pose. Let's take one full breath in. Hold at the top. Hold it there. Let's count 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1, very slowly release. And at the bottom, let's hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale and exhale. Just building the capacity of the lungs here. And go ahead and release the hands down very carefully. Slide the arms back. You can move your bolster forward here. And let's bring the hands right underneath the shoulders. And press into the hands, curl the toes, lift the hips straight up here. Take a breath. And then exhale. Release. And we're going to lift that right knee up and pivot the foot out to the left side. Release it to the floor like we did before in the beginning. But this time what we're going to do is bring that left knee, bend it, and bring it right behind that right knee. So pivot the left foot out to the right side of the mat, and then see if you can walk yourself to sit right into the space between the feet here, okay? So we're coming into our cow face pose. All right, so I'm going to turn so you can see me, see what this looks like. Now, this pose is very intense. It's a lot of hip flexor stretching on the side here. So what we're going to do is see where our body will allow us to go. If this is not working for you, where you have the knees stacked, that's perfectly fine. You can grab your bolster and just place it right between the knees here, okay? And what you want is the heels to be towards the outside of the hips, the glute area, and then allow your hand just to come to the top of that right knee. So we're going to stretch out the back of the shoulders now. So what we're going to do is just reach that right arm, press it to the left side here, and then hook your left arm to the tricep, so just behind the elbow of the right arm. And you're going to hook it in and reach it toward the outside of your left face, okay? So what you're going to do is pull the right shoulder back and then see if you can lift the left elbow up. So we're lifting with the left arm that's hooked. We're lifting that straight arm up, but what we're doing is pulling that shoulder of the straight arm back. So we're really getting a deep stretch in the rear delt here, so the back of the shoulder here. So take a breath. You'll notice that all that energy we had focused on the legs is now going to the shoulder, the shoulder area that may be very, very tight for you. Try to keep that left elbow lifted. Intensify that stretch in the right rear delt here. And see if you can maybe open your feet up a little bit wider here. So if you notice that you're able to stack the knees, go ahead and open those feet up a little bit wider towards the side. Just breathe. tall. One more breath. And then release the arms down, stretch them out nice and wide here. And what we're going to do is bring them up towards the sky. You're going to bend the right elbow, have the elbow pointed up, and you're just going to reach with that left arm to pull the elbow back. So we're not pushing the head forward. What we're doing is making space for your head to fall right in between the arms here, and you're just going to reach that right elbow in and back. You're using your left hand just to assist it here. Breathe. Stretching the triceps again. One more breath in. And release it out. Just go ahead and release both hands down. Let's lift the right knee in towards the body here. So the bottom of the foot is on the mat now. What we're going to do is just wrap the arm just to the outside of the knee here. So pulling the knee in towards the body. We're going to go ahead and just twist towards the right side here. So just stretching out your piriformis here, your glute muscle, your hip. Think of pulling that right hip down towards the mat and really pulling that knee in towards your body. Opening the shoulders up. Muscles are connected and work with each other. They all talk to each other. So stretching each one is so important to allow them all to release. So if you have a lot of tightness in one muscle, it's not just that one muscle to be concerned with. Know that they're all, again, speaking to each other and working with each other. So you want to give attention to all the muscles, all the surrounding muscles. And we're just going to reach the arms straight up and come right back to our downward facing dog. So very carefully bring yourself right back to your downward dog. Take a breath here, lift the heels and release them. Let's do the same thing on the opposite side. So left knee is going to bend. We're going to pivot the foot to the right side of the mat, release the knee. This time we're going to bring the right knee behind and then pivot the foot towards the left side. Sit between the space of the feet, and again, if you're feeling really tight in your hip flexor or anywhere right now, go ahead and bring your bolster between the knees if that works for you. So let's take a breath here. Make sure you're seated evenly with both sit bones into the floor. You're able to sit up nice and tall here. We're going to do the same thing what we did on the other side. So we're going to press that left arm now towards the right side. Let's hook the right arm to the tricep, and then we're going to bring the hands to the outside of the right face. We're going to lift that elbow up, and then pull the left shoulder back here. So going in for a deep stretch in the left rear shoulder here. Breathe here. Allow the legs to be soft. Maybe you notice that you're able to open the heels away from the hips a little bit here. Keep that right elbow lifted if you can. Allow the face to soften here. Up towards the sky, bend the left elbow, and then reach for that elbow with the right hand. Again, making sure you're not pushing your head forward, but allowing space, sit up nice and tall. Take a deep breath in. Let the ribs fall into the body. Again, notice the legs. Are you able to go a little bit deeper with the legs? If not, that's fine. If you are, see where you can go a little bit deeper. Maybe you can walk the heels out further so they're further out to the side. Maybe you can begin to remove the bolster and allow the knees to maybe come closer together.
same thing. Lift that left knee in towards your body. Hook the right hand around the front of the knee, and we're going to twist open towards the left side here. And in this pose, what I want you to do is think of elongating through the hip and the side here. So pulling that hip down towards the floor as you pull the knee in. Make sure that you open the shoulders up as much as you can towards the left side. Release the shoulders away from the head here, finding space in the neck. And just breathe. Keeping the core strong, twisting from the core, not using your left arm to twist. Just a little bit of a detoxifying for the inner body here too, for the digestive system. Gazing over your left shoulder. Alright, take one more breath. And release. And we're going to come up. And then we're going to come right back into our downward facing dog. So very carefully, let's meet. Stepping back into down dog.
Breathe in, lift the hips up, release the heels down. Let's just walk the feet very slowly in, inchworming into our forward fold. Breathe into the back of the heart. And then we're going to very slowly sit all the way down to the mat, extending the legs just in front of us. You can grab your bolster and place it underneath your knees here. We're just going to come for our Dandasana for just a second, and then our forward fold. So breathe in, reach the arms up. And then breathe out, begin to hinge forward from the hips only, and maybe you can reach for the toes. Maybe today you just want to bring the hands behind the calves here, or the knees even. I want you to release wherever you are and relax. Maybe releasing the forehead down towards the thighs here, maybe down towards the shins. One last deep breath in, and exhale, release. Very slowly roll your body back up. If you're using a bolster, remove your bolster. And let's just go ahead and come into an easy seated pose here. We're just going to close out. Sit up tall, palms facing up towards the sky. Take a breath in. And let go, release. Just noticing how your body feels now that you've opened all your muscles up. Allowed a little time for you just to quiet and still the mind. To allow some of that energy to run through you, to create this feeling of healing, rejuvenating energy running through you. Almost like you're restarting. Just reach the arms out to the side and up nice and wide towards the sky. Draw your hands together and bring your hands right down to your heart. Just drop your chin, just honoring your body, honoring your mind, honoring yourself, your soul, your heart, for bringing you to this moment. You're feeling settled, you're feeling clear, I'm feeling a little bit lighter. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through this quiet, still practice today. I hope you feel a little bit more released and a little more open. As we